Hey, Mark here, and I have a very fun giveaway for you. I have two Blu-ray copies of the 2023 film Monster, directed by Hirokazu Koreeda, up for grabs. The really cool people at Wellgo USA sent me two Blu-ray copies, and I would love to give one of them to you. So if you would like to enter for a chance to win, just shoot me a message and be like, hey, Mark, I would love to potentially win a copy of Monster, a Blu-ray copy of Monster. It's a wonderful film. Wellgo USA, they're great. This is probably one of my favorite giveaways since I had the Fist of the Condor giveaway, because that's an incredible film and another Wellgo USA movie. So yeah, if you would like a Blu-ray copy of Monster, shoot me a message and you can enter for a chance to win. Thanks. Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who will be flipping his microphone all throughout this episode. So if the audio gets a little weird, it's because the microphone's over his head, behind his back. He's throwing it up in the air. It's spinning, but the audience loves it. It's Erik Hoffmeyer.
Man, I've been practicing this all week for your viewers. They're going to love it. We're going to teach them some new tricks for the microphone. We're going to put it on your YouTube channel. It's going to be fantastic.
So I have a YouTube channel, but it's only audio, no video whatsoever. But I can see it, Erik. And
okay,
I mean, I'll just let me tell y'all what he's doing right now. Right now, he's kind of doing the Tom Cruise gyration and this flailing of arms, the bad dancing, and he's
hip thrust,
and he's flinging, and he is flinging that microphone all over the place. Like, just imagine a cross between JCVD and Kickboxer and Tom Cruise and Cocktail. That's what Erik looks like right now.
Remember, tip your bartender, folks.
I gotta tell you, man. Like, if I was the owner of these bars that they work at, like they're at a scene, they're at like the yuppiest bar ever, and they're the only two bartenders in the joint, and they take 7 minutes to make one drink. I would be furious if I was the owner. I'm like, listen, man, just pour the Jack Daniels into a cup and move on to the next person. I am losing hundreds of dollars a minute because you want to throw that Smirnoff bottle 40 feet in the air. Like, while it's in the air, you could pour a shot of Jägermeister, but you don't. Like, make that money, bartender. That's what I would say.
Here's a better idea. Get some people who are actually working behind there to balance it out, right? You got the people who like to be entertained. Then you got the people actually getting the work done. Everyone wins. You're cranking out more. But they might have had more bars in that one giant club and Cocktail. I mean, they might have had more, but that's the only one I really saw in the movie.
You're gonna be waiting all day.
All the attention.
Like, if it's just crazy. Like, you know what I would do? I would hire
exclusive. It's a very exclusive bar.
Yeah, I would hire. Yeah, no, that's why people love it. Yo, I waited 3 hours for a drink, and that dude spun a Smirnoff bottle 43 times, like, before he even poured one drink. I didn't even get to
$50 for a cocktail.
I got to watch people throw bottles in the air. I was like, hey, man, just throw them my way and I'll drink them. But that's went full Mitch Hedberg there. But I would hire someone just to pour the beer or shots, right? But if someone orders a mixed drink, let the people shake the heck out of them. Let them flip the bottles. But if someone's like, hey, man, give me some rum. Does it matter? No. Like, okay, give it to Hank. Hank pours rum, gives it to him. Like, he doesn't need to spin the bottle. Like, there needs to be no bottle flips.
I don't know. I think all bars, you need some differentiation, right? If you want a guy named just, give me some rum or a beer, you're not going to be at that bar. I think each bar, if you go to New York, they all have like this different niche: the craft brews, the whiskey, the high-end cocktails, the party ones. This one in the movie Cocktail is just for people looking to, I think, to be seen and be entertained. So I think there's room for the entertainment. I mean, really, all bartenders are basically performance artists anyway. I mean, if you're a bartender, people are staring at you all night, analyzing every little thing that you can do. I mean, think about it. What other job do you just sit there or be there and people just stare at you all night long? But I like it. I mean, every bar you got to have a thing, right? Like, if you just want a straight beer, go to your local pub or something.
No, that's fair. I mean, listen, you're right. If people go to this bar to watch people flaying bottles into the air, it's like that's what it is. But imagine you just walk in there one night and you're like, poof, it was a hard day. Let's go in this bar. It looks popping. And then you wait 7 hours for a Corona. Like, it's It's not.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny is like when you walk into any go, let's say you go to a new bar, you walk in and everyone just kind of looks around. They analyze the vibe, the lines, the craft beer, and they make the split decision whether they want to go or not. It's really you do a lot of mental a lot of calculus when you first walk into a bar the first time, deciding whether you want to stay in or not. Actually, fun fact, that's why Irish bars are always built like soon as you walk in, you see the bartender straight ahead. It's like a perpendicular because you can be
Mm.
greeted as soon as you enter to feel welcome.
Welcome to
Because if you're
Moe's.
greeted, yeah, if you're welcome, you feel it. You get a nice like eye contact with a bartender. You're more likely to sit down and have a beer.
That's really like welcome to Patty's or welcome to Olazavas because John Lazarus always wanted to open up an Irish pub. The
Oh,
former
Lazabeth, that's amazing. I would
co-host
go there.
of this show. He does have a improv theater in Tampa now called the Commodore. And so he's leasing a place in Ybor for improv where you can learn and do. So if you're anywhere near Tampa, go to the Commodore and you can see my buddy John and his group, his troupe. They lease the theater. So you can go check out some good improv from a former MFF co-host for 100 episodes. The first
Yeah, he was
100.
there from the beginning.
Yeah. So
He's
yeah,
an
man,
OG.
like this movie Cocktail, right? It's as a former bouncer and as someone who spent many years of his life standing at a door frame and just headlocking people, it's really I don't it's such like a fantasy land. And you know what's interesting too, the original book, the author talked about it. He just kind of said like the guy who wrote the script too, he's just sort of the guy who wrote the script, he wrote it as more of an older dude who's been bartending for 10 years and he was all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but that's 10 years later and he's like, oh crap. But like that's
Yeah, in a blink of an eye, 10 years goes by.
yeah, and listen, he wrote that like 10, he blink of an eye, and they both bought the rights to the script. They wanted a younger person. And he's like, all right, whatever, man. Like I was a younger person when I bartended, like so I could switch it to a younger person. But then you watch this movie and this movie's weird, Eric, because it's three movies. It's
It's
Tom
3
Cruise,
acts.
yeah,
There's literally 3 acts in this
but
movie. It's like a play
yeah,
almost.
and he's like, listen, I'm gonna go get a job, and everyone's like, no. He's like, I can tell you what's wrong on that ad, and they're like, no. And he's like, I'm gonna go to school, and he's like, nah. And he starts bartending. He's like, nah. And then he goes to Jamaica, and he meets a girl, and he's like, nah. And then he meets a rich lady, and she uses him as like
Nah.
a play toy, and he goes, nah. And then he goes to meet up with his buddy, and his buddy's like, nah. And then eventually he starts a bar with his pregnant girlfriend who ran away from her family in a violent encounter. And now they have to stay up late every night and balance books and clean the floors of a bar. They're going to become
Well, he's
vampires.
franchising. He's franchising it. He's got to hire some good people that he can
Yeah.
just get into management.
Like,
That's what you have kids for. You have kids for so they can work.
yeah. Just
They
get him
can
going.
work
Get
the
him
bar.
going. Clean those glasses. But it's a weird movie, man. And I've had to watch every single Tom Cruise movie 3 times since 2018. So I've had to go
Well, he
through.
wasn't running. He didn't do any running.
Yeah, he
Well, he
does
did on
running.
the beach.
And
In
he
the
runs
beach
to
when
his
someone was, yeah.
and he runs to his class in the beginning.
Yep.
I
Okay.
scanned every inch of his movies
And
because
at the bus too, when he was trying to catch it. All right.
so many people miss like there's every Tom Cruise run. I have the only definitive one. I'm just letting everyone know. But I've watched it and like Cocktail's such an outlier, man, because he learned from it. Like you said, it's his lowest tomato meter rated film. But you could
We're
see
reviewing Cruise's worst movie right now.
but you could see but that's what's great, right? Like that's why we can talk about it because I think he learned a lot from this movie. He made it like the dancing, like he never does that again. He's never made him like when I saw when he was jumping on Oprah's couch, I was
Mhm.
and then you watch him dance in this movie, you're like, oh, he's just like he's got this energy and it like
He was so exuberant in this movie.
yeah, and so you see that in him, but you never see that again. Like this is not
Well,
he
Jerry
learned from this
Maguire, he
movie.
did.
What was the dancing he did in that?
No, the exuberant nature, like the
Oh,
screaming and the over the top
but he
reactions.
had Cameron Crowe and like 10 years after that. Like he had
True.
like he and I think that's probably his best performance because he puts everything together in it. Like he's a great romantic lead. He's funny. He's rakish. Like he's not. Did you see him in The Mummy? He's like, oh, Tom Cruise is Lothario in this movie, and you're like, get away. But in Jerry Maguire, he's like a good one. Like everything comes together for him in Jerry Maguire. But I don't think all that happens without the lessons he learned from Cocktail.
Maybe. I was just traveling for work, so I was away for a while and I was catching up on movies and I saw Cocktail on Hulu and I'm like, okay, let's check this out. This looks interesting. I don't know anything. I didn't remember it at all. So I start watching it and I thought this would be a perfect one for us to discuss because you go in expecting a flashy movie about Tom Cruise grinning, cocktail, and all these bar tricks, and then you were like, "Wow, this is kind of dark," and this is a lot of themes in this movie. I mean, there's like, you know, be careful about who you select as your mentor because that says a lot about who you are. Be careful on whose advice you're taking and who you emulate because this mentor, he brings out the best in them and he brings out the worst in them. There's also like he was all thrust, no vector, like have a plan. You can't just go out, what do you want to do? You can't just want to do everything, right? There's also other themes too in here, like people who partly loathe their career. I think, he didn't, like, you could tell some sadness when he was in Jamaica, like the repetitive aspect of it. There's so many different things going on as well. And another thing that struck me in this movie is be careful about what you aim for too. It's like they were just aiming to get wealthy
Yeah.
and just bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, just shooting to be wealthy. So it's I know it struck me is I'm not saying it was the best movie ever. I just thought there were a lot of deeper undertones that they tried to get across, or at least that came out in the movie. And that's why I think it was so low rated, is that people went in thinking about it was one thing, but it was a totally different thing. And then they tried to make it happy at the end.
Dude, I hadn't watched this movie for years. I First time I watched this movie was 2018 when I did my first watch, and I thought it was just the bottle flipping movie where like the Beach Boys sing Kokomo. Like I didn't like I thought it was just the flighty little thing, and then I'm watching it, and I see what happens to Coughlin, and then just the
That
this
was too on the nose, man. That was
yeah,
too like that
like
was too much.
you see what happens with him, and then like the with Elisabeth Shue and the violent encounter with the family, and you're like. And then also it hurts. It's three movies. So
Mhm.
many movies have the three-act structure, but they transition well into each other. This one's like, peace out, New York. We're in Jamaica. And it's like, peace out, Jamaica. We're in New York. Like they don't transition. Like there's
It's
no
like Deer Hunter. It's like, or like
yeah.
one of those movies where it's like Vietnam, then back
Yeah.
home, and
And you're just kind of like, wait. And then yeah, it's not what people are expecting. Also, dude, this came after Top Gun and what the Color of Money. So like, Oscar nominated movies and like Top Gun was a gigantic blockbuster. And then you go watch Cocktail and you're kind of like, what? Like I've seen him be a pilot. I've seen him be, a pool hustler. Now he's just hanging out with this dude and, drinking eggs and tomato juice
yeah.
and beer.
And
And
it was the third movie in a row where he was like this young hotshot guy, and then he gets mentored by your older sage leaders or people. Color of Money, Paul Newman, he was kind of cool but kind of sleazy. It was, Color of Money's not an easy movie to watch. Paul
oh,
Newman was so good in that, but it was just kind of like yucky. That's the best description I have
but
of Color of the Money.
that's what it should be because they're going
I
into pool
know,
halls, right? And
I know.
they're going into the pool house to hustle money. And like, so
Yeah,
you should
it was
feel,
yucky.
yeah.
It was authentic, and I don't. It was too authentic to. I couldn't really enjoy
Yeah.
it. But and then Top Gun, obviously he's young, he's brash. You got the admirals always yelling, the captain's always yelling at him and teaching him. Yeah,
And the music
but
and the death and Iceman and it's just all Tony
mhm.
Scott, man, his style is beautiful. And then you get Cocktail.
Cocktail with
Yeah.
Coughlin.
But
They originally wanted Robin Williams for that role, by the
yeah.
way. Fun fact. That would have been incredible.
But I think Coughlin's perfect though, because he's like, that scene where he's like, drink or leave and like drink or quit or like, beers for breakfast. And he's a pusher and he just wants someone to kind of go down with him. But then he takes Gina Gershon and then he goes and shows up to Jamaica and he's just a a sad kind of lech who and also to his bar, right? He made this
He had the good lines though. He had a
yeah.
lot of good lines in
Well,
this
yeah,
movie.
he's like he just but I feel like most yeah, he's just so practiced though. Like all of his lines that he's spitting out and I think he does the best of his abilities, but then he's been bartending for all these years, but then he opens up his own business, puts too much money into it, and then he'll never make money.
But that's the problem. He's always making fun of Tom Cruise for having the manuals about bartending and about studying it. And then what he does in he just goes he wants the biggest, the best in Manhattan. He wants to be the richest. Instead of saying, okay, what where is the need in the city that we can fill and make a smart business case for that. He just wanted to be the best, regardless
Hmm.
of what anyone else needed. And that's the biggest like fault with starting a bar is you got to find the need in that community for that particular bar. So he did what he wanted versus what was business sound. And that's why I kind of liked the ending because Tom Cruise found something that was popular, it was homey. Like bars in New York are extension of your house because you don't really spend a lot of time in your tiny little apartment. You're usually out at restaurants and things. So that was really interesting to me.
There's some cool New York pubs, man. I found or some a bottle of Writer's Tears that they brought back from Ireland, just sitting on a shelf there one time. That was lovely. I went to Irish pub and like, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of bars though, but you're right though. They have to fill the need. They have to have character, and there has to be a bar for every different type of person. So like, you
Yeah.
saw the bars I worked at. They were very for a very specific clientele, but they filled the
But
need for a lot of people, and
yeah.
they were big for a while. So I think you can't just open a bar and expect to succeed. You have to think about the area and think about where you are and the traffic and can people pull in here? Can people walk here? Is there not alley? Is there a popular bar nearby? Like there's way too many things to think about. He didn't think about any of that. He just
I'm
wanted to
gonna go
spend.
big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was very empty. I gotta ask you, when you were bouncing, did anyone stand up and recite poetry at your bar?
Oh, dude. So all right, I worked at Big Daddy's and like it was crazy music. I mean, like Playboy was like we're the best bar in America at one point, and which I don't
Wow.
know if that's a great advertisement, back in the early 2000s. But we had like My Chemical Romance play there before they were big in front of like 30 people. We had some big
30
name
Seconds to
bands,
Mars.
yeah, like
You had Offspring.
yeah, yeah, like big names and like the Ataris and a lot of hardcore bands and like we were a pretty cool spot there for a while. And but yeah, no one did poetry like that.
Jared Leto punching sideburns is one of the
Sideburns right in the
greatest
face.
stories I've
This,
ever. Yeah.
this clocking sideburns. Never dance weird in front of.
So no one did any poetry at your bar, is what you're saying.
No, man. I mean, the closest it came was probably the Brewskis, but
So
it's
there was. So okay, so in Cocktail for the listeners, there's a couple times when Tom Cruise got up and had to recite poetry off the cuff about being a bartender, and there's a yuppie guy who gave this really ridiculous yuppie
oh yeah.
80s materialistic poem. So I'm like thinking about the times when I would come and hang out with Mark at Big Daddy's and my friends, and I wrote a poem.
Let's hear it.
I can't remember the last time I've written a poem, but I spent a whopping 5 minutes on this. I mean, you ready for this?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. All right. There once was a bar called Big Daddy's in Tallahassee. Sticky floors, cheap beer, and Jägermeister splashing. Back when Coors Light reigned supreme, good whiskey was a pipe dream. Patrons airborne like DJ Jazzy Jeff in the 90s. Great bands like My Chemical Romance and the Brewskis. Attempts to recite poetry would be booed mercilessly. But actually, Mark, you would throw people out all the time.
Yeah, so I wasn't
Like you would literally people would go airborne being thrown up by you and Kahuna.
I wasn't so we weren't violent bartenders. Like we weren't the club bartenders, so we were a bar. So like it was most of the time it was just two of us. And what I realized very early on was like when a fight breaks out, you got to squash it fast. And one time, so all right, the reason why you would chuck people out is because one time I tried to throw this person out, but they latched onto the door. So I had them around the waist and they were just squeezing onto the door and I couldn't get them out of the stupid bar. And people were just laughing. And I tried to turn them around. They put their feet up. So eventually I just dropped them and I put them in like a bear hug. And then and then I walked them out backwards, but they were still trying to hook their foot on there. So like I would just kind of be like, clear a room and like clear it. And then I would just kind of do a running push outside the door. I didn't see anybody out there. I didn't think it through too much, but that got them out quick. And so that was like it was the easiest way to throw people out. And then I would walk out and take their band off and tell them to leave. But yeah, that was the bouncing way. But I tried not to rough people up too much. Like if they were cool about it, you just put them in a headlock and you walk them out. Or you just go, hey man, out. And then that's fine. But you just gotta like, I'm telling you, man, as a bouncer, you can't let it because if they bump into somebody, they're gonna be mad. Like the first time I hurt my back as a bouncer, there's a guy who got into a fight with one of our regulars, and the guy started it, so I picked up the guy, but then the regular went and punched him in the gut while I was carrying the guy out, and then the guy lurched forward, and so did I, and my back popped. I was so mad at that regular. But it's
Come on.
yeah, it's you got to squash it fast because if one person gets it, then another person gets pushed, and the guy gets pushed, and like a girl gets pushed, and then she hits somebody,
It
and
escalates.
yeah, so you just got to like squash it fast. But I never hurt anybody. Like sometimes if they were really big and I knew I couldn't take them, I would just headlock them and lay on them until the cops came because I knew some jujitsu and like I could like hold them down. So like that was like just don't get up, get them in head and arm and just lay on them till the cops come. So like I didn't want to hurt anybody. Like I didn't want anybody hurting them. I didn't want them hurting anybody. But yeah, that was. But so there's a line in this movie where he goes, "Days get shorter and shorter, nights longer and longer. Before you know it, your life is just one long night with a few comatose daylight hours." And it's true, man. Like
True.
bar
100%.
bar closes at 2, you're out at 3. You're kind of jacked up, man. Like you're kind of, like, hey guys, let's go have a few beers. So we go have some
Yeah.
beers and go to someone's house. And by the time you get home, it's 6 a.m. And then you just sleep through the day. You wake up and then you probably go back to work. And that's like the cycle that you live. And it's because you don't want to immediately just go home. Like you want to go kick it with your friends, but then it's like the same thing every night, every
Right.
night, every
You get
night, every
trapped
night.
in that cycle. And we're not insulting the profession by any stretch of the imagination. If you like that lifestyle, it's cool, but it does tend to get you into a certain cycle.
Yeah. And and
You know,
and like
one
money
thing
can
I
be
thought,
great, but
yeah,
and people could enjoy their jobs, man. But maybe if they had discipline, like when I worked on film sets, I learned discipline with my food and my sleep. After every wrap, I went home and slept, ate very healthy food, and like people who went out and partied, their bodies would be wrecked at the end of the shoot because they never slept and they're just exhausted and they can't keep up. So I learned to take care of my body. I was younger when I was bouncing, like when I went back in grad school, I went immediately home and went to sleep. I didn't mess around with anything after that. So it's when I was younger, you go out and you party and like you feel invincible. But then, by the time you're 24, 25, and you're like, wait a second, the Brewskis isn't going to get famous. So and it was band I was in, but you sort of, but he's right though. Like the daylight hours become less, the night gets longer, but all you're basically doing is sitting at a bar. You have great conversations though, and you hang out with cool people and you have some really neat moments, but it's like a commuter thing. Like people come and go. So you get new people coming to the bar, you become friends with them, and you get new people coming to the bar. It's like once you've seen enough of them
mhm.
go, you're kind of over it. So that's when I kind of left for the first time to move on. But yeah, it's
Gotcha. You know, one thing they got right was restaurants and bars, they throw you right into the action. I
mhm.
remember like when I did some bar backing and bussing at a fine dining Italian restaurant in Ybor in Tampa one summer, and I grew up a lot that summer, seeing so everything. But what they restaurants they throw you right in to see if you can sink or swim or not. That was pretty normal. Like he went in there not knowing all the drinks, but it's one thing to not know the drinks. The other one, how quickly can you learn? How do you adapt to the situation? So I'm like, okay, that is totally true in
Yeah.
restaurants. Just dive right into the situation. And there's a couple of things I liked. I remember at the bar when he was first learning how to be a bartender, and everyone's throwing drink orders after him and drink orders, and he's like had no idea what was going on. But it was a stressful scene because you had like people yelling at him from every direction. And I liked it because with servers, their tips depend on how fast you can turn this out. So there is
Mhm.
a lot of distress and stressed out people. I mean, it is true, but also I like it created a little suspense and action. I like mundane moments like ordering drinks that they turn them into like an action sequence, and I really enjoy how movies can do that. What are your thoughts on that? And any other movies and scenes that stick out to you where it could be a mundane moment, but they make it interesting. And a couple of options. Like I remember Asteroid City when they played the memorization game and they just kept going around the
I
circle.
love that
They're
movie.
playing a game, but it was a good scene and it really kept my attention.
Oh, I love
Or
that.
everybody wants some when they're on the phone together, with for the first time. Like when you can make a mundane scene interesting, I think is when you're a great filmmaker.
Oh, I just watched a movie called Full Time. It's a beautiful French film, and this woman catching a cab was one of the most stressful things, or renting a car was one of the most stressful things I've ever seen. So yeah, I mean, I think, but that's a testament to music, editing, directing, the setup,
Sure.
and listen, they do throw you into that world really well. But I mean, if you think about the world of cooking and chefing and prepping, like those hours are crazy long too. So I think people don't realize the amount of stress that goes on with all of that. So yeah, toss him in there. He doesn't know the drinks. The main thing is he didn't quit. The main thing
Yeah,
is, he lost his
that's
temper a
it.
few times, but that showed them that he's not going to be like a pushover. He He kept his composure. He didn't crawl into a fetal position and just lay there. He made it through the night, and that happened to me my first night bouncing. I did a
Me
terrible
too.
job. The only thing that saved
Yeah.
me is that some guy went after my boss, and I just picked up the guy because that's when I weighed 250. I just like picked up in the air like he was nothing, and I walked him out. So the boss was like, "Yeah, you didn't really do great tonight, but you did that, so you can come back again." I was like, oh, "Okay, cool." And then I picked it up, and
You see the
years later,
flashes of
yeah,
potential.
yeah, but yeah, I just scooped a guy up in front of him, and he's like, "Oh, okay, like this this guy's helpful." So,
Yeah, we,
uh,
we, we can train this one.
yeah, it's because I no one told me, what to do, and so I probably should have just, but I probably should have sat there and thought like, okay, what do I do? But I was young, so I didn't really think about it.
You know another great scene was I just rewatched Office Space for the first time in like 20 years, and remember the scene at the beginning when he's just in traffic and he's inching along, he's listening to the music, he's stressed out, and a scene in traffic was interesting. That was another example of like a fun storytelling.
Because everyone feels that. Right? Everyone knows what
Yeah.
it's like to sit in traffic. And I mean, shoot, man, you live in Miami, I live in Atlanta. We know traffic. So it's it's we sit in traffic. And sometimes you're like, oh man, like sometimes my so I leave an hour and a half for work. Like some days I'll get there in an hour, right? Some days it'll take me 2 hours to get to work. Like it's just and you're just not moving at all and you're stressed out. And yeah, you just feel it, the mundane drive, I think. So but I kind of do it to myself. There's another route I could go with a bunch of different turns and areas, but it's like you're gambling. It's like you can make it there quicker, but also it could be a lot slower. So I just choose to sit
Mhm.
on the highway because I just know that it won't be as stressful. So I've taken the least stressful route the older I get. I don't want to freewheel all over the place on
Yeah,
every
you don't be
peach tree.
fried by the time you get to work.
Yeah, on every peach tree in the planet. I don't want to do that. But no, listen, this movie, there's a reason why it's beloved, right? There's a reason why it was on cable. Like I remember this movie being on cable all the time, and like I said, I never watched it, but I always knew Cocktail was a thing, right? And I never knew
Mhm.
Cocktail was as reviled as it was, but like people watch it. I
It's
knew that
true.
people watched it, and the reason is there's like no, there's really he's never down long, and so yeah, like sure, Coughlin kills himself at the end, but then he gets a bar 3 minutes later. Like he reads a
Mhm.
letter and he's like, "Oh, okay, all's good with the world. And I got my girlfriend." It's like nothing's dwelled on too long in this
Yeah,
movie.
I was Googling best bartenders in film before this episode just because I'm like, I couldn't remember any. Like, I remember Deadpool had the bartender. I think probably my favorite bartender of all time was the guy from Forgetting Sarah Marshall, the guy that knew the state fish of Hawaii and you put up with Jason Segel drunk and complaining all the time. He's my favorite one. But all the lists had Flanagan, young Flanagan from Cocktail, but it only had 9%. So it's like the best bartenders in film. He's on every list, but the movie itself is 9% of critic score and only 50% of audience score. So it's like everyone bagged on it, but whatever, it's still burned into the psyche of pop culture. This Tom Cruise is a bartender.
I mean, here's the thing: like, it's not you can't watch this movie and be like, "This is an entire movie," because he doesn't learn really many lessons. Everything sort of comes together for him, and it does feel like the script kind of is like a seesaw. It goes into like the original screenplay that was based on more of a mature bartender, then it goes to Kokomo, and then it goes to that, and then it goes to something else. So it seesaws around a little bit. But I like I said, man, like you could put this movie like now if this movie was on cable, you know exactly what scene it is. You know the dude's about to fall down the subway steps. He's about to fall
Yeah,
asleep in
he would have been
class. Yeah.
seriously
Oh
injured if
gosh,
he
yeah.
fell down concrete.
And like a speech is about to come. He's gonna fist fights coming up. That weird scene with Gina Gershon where Tom Cruise just tickled her as much as possible and then she fell off the bed.
Yeah,
But
it's back. That was a fun scene. I mean, they had fun filming that.
and like Gina Gershon's been around forever, man. She's Louise. But I love it. She's still crushing it. She was in Thanksgiving. I like that movie. But yeah, it's so low stakes. Cocktail. I know at the end the
Yeah,
guy
you're
kills
right.
himself, but
Yeah.
he's Coughlin's a butthole anyway. So like he's just gonna he's such a coward. And but then see the thing is they don't dwell on it. He just reads the letter. He's like, oh, okay, cool. Coughlin's law. Like just put him in the dirt, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes and gets his girlfriend back. Then he has a successful bar. So and it leaves on an upper. It doesn't leave him as like a 40-year-old bartender with a gut and receding
Mhm.
hair and just looking miserable. while Jason Bateman from Extraction comes in and just complains the entire time. But it leaves you on a high.
Jason Bateman.
Yeah, remember Extraction? Ben Affleck's the bartender. He just gives the worst advice ever. Like that's more of a bar to me. But
Oh, right.
no, I just think it's in and out, and that's what makes it successful. I think sometimes you can look at a movie and be like, this is not the sum of all its parts, but you can still enjoy it. If that makes like,
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? So, you mentioned the seesawing, the different acts, and the different parts of it. Like, what other movies are like this where they appear glossy and fun, but they take a sharp turn? Like, I'm thinking of like Office Space, where it starts a H job and then it turns into a heist, or Hot Fuzz, it went from police to horror satire, or maybe like The Prestige. You think it's about musicians, and it was like a weird sci-fi twist. What kind of movies other ones do you think about taking this like very interesting turn, when you get into the movie? And is that fair for
oh,
the audience?
that's really interesting because I think these are mostly movies that become cult classics. Like look at Death to Smoochie with Edward Norton. I went into that with Robin Williams. I'm like, oh man, it's Edward Norton and Robin Williams. Edward Norton's amazing. But then I watched it and it's the most like profane and mean spirited movie that I've ever seen in my life. But then years later, I think about it, I'm like, I kind of laugh. Or you think about Heathers, right? You think that's going to be this fun movie about like high schoolers, and then it takes a wild turn. Shaun of the Dead gets really emotional. There's a movie,
Hmm.
what let's see, like American, like Burn After Reading. Have you seen Burn After Reading?
No.
It's a Coen's brother movie with Brad Pitt and George Clooney, but it takes some turns, man, and it's very funny. But there's also moments in it where you go, "Oh my gosh!" Or like Super by James Gunn or Slither. I never thought those two movies would be as violent and gnarly as they were because I thought they were just going to be fun films. So yeah, but you know what though? I don't think it's like I don't think marketing wants to show that though. Like if you have a movie like Death to Smoochie and if I'm a marketer and I see Death to Smoochie, I'm like, oh crap.
Like, how do I communicate
Yeah.
about this? Like, how do I
Like
get people in the seats?
like I don't know what to do. So I would just it's funny. It's a funny movie. Like who cares? It's funny. If I'm doing like Jojo Rabbit, man, that movie takes some people get hung and die. Like it gets bleak in that movie, but you're not going to show that in the trailer. So it's
Well, wasn't that's another one that was based on a book though, too?
yeah, I mean, I guess if you've read it, but if you haven't and you're like, oh, hey, Taika Waititi and he's playing Hitler and it looks funny, and then all of a sudden someone's hanging from the ground, you see their shoes. So it, but I think a lot of these movies are not met with well, and I mean
Mhm.
by audiences. That's I wish I could come up with a better example, but I think what's like Get Out, right? It's an incredible movie. It originally had a very bleak ending, but then he made it into a more positive ending, and it made a ton more money.
Yeah.
You look at the Marvel movies; they just follow such a formula, and then they end happy, most of them. So you're like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, cool. It's like if you left one of these, like Infinity War left, but everyone knew there's a part two coming. If you just left on the biggest downer, it doesn't work. And I think this movie needed that positive ending, but it also there's what is the message of
I
Cocktail?
don't know. I don't know how don't fall for a bartender in Jamaica. I don't know. Like, like just or be careful about who your mentors are. I don't think it's all over the place. There's
Yeah,
so many different messages. I mean, it could be follow your dreams, like the whole cocktail and dreams, but then like he didn't even have the right dream. He pivoted to something he was able to do well and that was attainable.
yeah, yeah.
But it's I can't summarize this. It's basically because there's three different acts too. I mean, it's like a whirlwind romance, but that doesn't happen until halfway through the movie.
He
You can't summarize this movie cleanly, and if you try, you're only telling a partial story.
and he like slams her in the water during that one scene.
They were wrestling. I
Yeah,
thought that was hilarious, though. I
like
mean, that's like my wife tries to take me out all the time.
that seems like a very that seems very Tom Cruise though, right? Like I don't think he has a three setting. Like I don't think he could tussle in the water. I think
Oh,
if
he's
you
going all the way.
if you start tussling with him, he's gonna single leg you and slam you on a rock. Like he doesn't have. No, like oh man, my bad. I just lose it. Like he doesn't have a. Like, does that make sense? Like
Yeah, he's the
he
guy. If you're doing jujitsu and you're rolling, he just takes it too far, and you're
yeah
like, "Yo, dude." we're at 60% right now.
You
You just
just
can't do it.
you just snapped my arm, Tom Cruise. Well, that was my 30. That was my 30. Like, what? What's your 100? He's like, it's a tornado. What? Like, you don't want to see it. But yeah, when he slammed her in the water, I was like, this is
He did a leg sweep. Like
this,
it was like put your leg behind her heel and then do like a hip thrust.
if they
Uh,
showed her back after that, it would just be red. But this is the closest I think we've come to the exuberance of Tom Cruise, who he actually is. Like with the slamming her in the water. Because I bet you they were just like, hey, go in the water and have fun. And then he just belly just slams her. And
Took
then
her
like,
out.
hey, Tom Cruise, just dance. And like that's his dancing. And everyone's like, oh my gosh. Like I think that's him. And he's had to rein it in for things. Like I don't think he can be as pumped up in movies because then people are like, this doesn't work too well. So I mean, but if you let's look at it. So after Cocktail, he went and he pivoted. He, after Cocktail, he was like, I need to go do Rain Man and Born on the 4th of July. I need to do the complete opposite of what I've been doing. I'm still a hot shot, but I have to take care of my brother, an Oscar winner, and then Born on the 4th of July. I'm going to work with Oliver Stone. It's a true to life story. I'm going to get an Oscar nomination. I'm going to be super serious. And then I love it too. But then he goes back to,
You're right. He
yeah,
did take a serious turn after Cocktail.
because that's what most people do. And then like people are kind of like, yeah, this is great. But then he went and did Days of Thunder, and everyone's like, well, this is him being a hot shot again. And then he did Far and Away, and he has the Irish accent, and everyone went, nah. And then he went back to his bread and butter, man. He went back to like A Few Good Men. He went to The Firm. He's basically a variation of Tom Cruise in that. Then he goes unhinged for Vampire. Like he's gnarly in Interview with the Vampire. But then you know what I love about him, man. He knows how, and then he does Mission Impossible and Jerry Maguire, two very good ones. He jumps into Eyes Wide Shut, which he spent a year with Stanley Kubrick. Which and that movie features his best walking, by the way. His best sitting is in Collateral. Just letting everyone know.
Well, didn't they do 80 scenes of him walking through a
Yeah,
door
yeah, that's what
on
Kubrick
Eyes
did.
Wide Shut?
Yeah, that's what Kubrick would make people do 100 some takes. So when you signed up on a Kubrick movie, you were going to be there for 8 years. So I think it's cool though. I think he just accepted it. Like he and Nicole Kidman were like, we signed up for a Kubrick movie, so we were there for a year. And he said he learned a lot, but then he went to
That's what killed their
Magnolia.
marriage too, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it was just gnarly. And then he goes and does Magnolia, gets another Oscar nomination, and then he does like Mission Impossible 2, which was a lot of fun, made bank. Then he did Vanilla Sky, which missed. So then he's like, okay, I'm gonna go do my like he knows how to like stay steady like through his career. If he has a dud, he learns from it and does something else. Like he never it's like a YouTube algorithm. If you have a couple hits, if you have some duds, man. So I work for a company who really has to watch the algorithm. And if they have a couple dud episodes, they need to go back to their bread and butter and get 5 million views to put them back up in the algorithm. You can't have 3 low algorithms, and you know all that. And so I think Tom Cruise has figured out the algorithm for his career, because I think after Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, The Mummy, and American Made, he's like, we're not doing this again. So since then he's done Fallout, Maverick, and Dead Reckoning. He's like, I need to go back to my bread and butter. So he's like the human algorithm of keeping in. But I think like Cocktail though, he seems to learn from all these movies. Like he's like he's like AI but human. Like he just absorbs everything and learns. And so I'm telling you, man, like aside from Jerry Maguire, we haven't seen this Tom Cruise in other movies.
No, we haven't. That's a good observation. I got a few other questions for you. I want to run this by you real quick. Some things I thought about.
Also, he's never been a normal guy. I think he took a break from being like a broke dude. Like so he took like Far and Away, but that's more of like an epic, and he's a bare knuckle boxer. So I think he wasn't like a regular dude again until
I totally missed Far and Away. Do you want to review that one in a future episode?
Yeah, he has an Irish accent. He does a lot of running.
I've never seen it.
Nicole Kidman's in it. I don't think he was a regular dude until where is it? War of the Worlds. And he's just like a loser dad.
Oh, he got swept up into it, the action.
But then he starts running, and then like he outruns everybody. But that's like he's kind of like a bum dad. And then he goes back to being Tom Cruise again. Yeah. And then maybe American Made, he's just a guy, but then he's drug runs. So yeah, he's only been like a regular dude in a couple movies, and this is one of them. Because he's not a regular dude.
Well, he was a dude in Color of Money, which is a dude in a pool hall.
Yeah, that's true. But he had the hustle though, right? Like
he had something special. Like he had the game.
Like this one, he keeps failing at stuff. Just like he has to figure it out until he gets his wife's money to open up a bar.
So what's like the worst possible movie he could do? Would it be like he starts like a software company?
Yeah, yeah.
He's like an entrepreneur, starts a soft. What's the worst thing he could possibly do?
Just
And he goes around selling it. I don't know.
like just the worst thing he could do. The worst
The
thing.
opposite of the algorithm. If the algorithm broke, he
What
did a
what?
180.
So he wants to break the algorithm, and like in a
Yeah.
bad way, or like
Like what's the most mundane movie? Like court stenographer or
man,
software company?
okay, not paparazzi.
He joins the newest barbershop movie. I don't know. Like what would be
Like he
the
did
worst
Rock of
thing ever?
Ages, but I admire him for that because he tries so hard in it.
Which one was that one?
The one where it's a musical based on the stage play, and he plays Stacy Jacks, a rocker, and he's I don't know if it works, but he is so committed in it that you just go, okay, Tom, like
You
you
earned this one.
you put every molecule of your being into this movie. But I think okay, to break the algorithm, to break the algorithm,
Has he done any cartoons where he's just voice? Any animated
like
features?
Sausage Party. No, I don't think he's done too many animated movies. Okay, to break the algorithm,
Like a Disney movie voiceover.
he would be. I think he'd be quite charming. Okay, he would have to be like the Game Plan 2, the football movie, but with Tom Cruise.
Oh, like
Rated.
he's a lawyer. He gets a DUI. He has to find
No, he's a
redemption
football
through
player.
coaching sports.
Yeah, he's a football player, and
Now?
now, and he learns he has seven illegitimate, not Ill, he has seven children from seven different women, and they all meet and they all decide to go on vacation and leave the seven children with him, and then
Oh,
he also gets injured during this time, so then he has to like deal with poop and pee and like basically the pacifier
a
too,
road trip, like a road trip movie
and then he just has to go like,
or a
God,
Christmas special.
stop, I gotta clean up this butt, like, yeah, stop peeing on me, stop, like, come back here, Nick. Like he's just that guy, but he has to play like, whoa, that's it.
We'll break the Tom Cruise algorithm.
It's like Wild Hogs, but like wild dads, and he's a football player, and he learns he has seven children, and then he has to like, I have to learn how to take care of these kids, and then he has to take care of them.
Tom Cruise is the pacifier too. Vin Diesel gets fired from the pacifier
Yeah,
franchise. They
yeah,
bring in Tom
Tom
Cruise.
Cruise. Yeah, so that's,
Watching these kids as a nanny.
oh gosh, yeah, I don't think he could do it. Like he just couldn't do it. It wouldn't work.
Okay. That was a fun one. I got a couple questions for you. There's some scenes where there's a lot of drunk people in this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were a director and you were providing tips, how would you have your actors act drunk? Like would you actually give them a beer to loosen them up, or would you just have them pretend and have it act?
I wouldn't hire extras first and foremost. So if I was doing a bar scene and I was doing a packed bar scene, I would. Okay, so where's to give me a place like
A party.
a party. So it's a drunk party.
Yeah, and you've got drunk actors, the
Okay,
drunk on screen.
so you're in a party. You're at a house. I'm assuming, right? Is it a house?
Yeah, house party.
House party, bunch of drunk people. So I would go out and hire SAG actors for everybody. It would be very expensive, but I would cut stuff out of the budget in other places because extras are great. Maybe if you're in LA, if you're in England, if you're in New York, you could maybe find some good ones. But let's say we're shooting in like a right to work state and we don't really have a strong batch of like SAG extras. I would go out and find SAG extras. Like I would get featured extras who act, and I would audition all of them for their drunk acting.
What about your main star though? Like your main characters? Like they're slammed, they're saying dumb stuff. Like there's a scene in Cocktail where Coughlin and Flanagan are walking down the street after they close and they're drunk and having a nightcap.
I think the best drunk acting is just pretend like you're not drunk, but you are drunk. it's I don't want like, I'm just too drunk. Like you gotta, everyone's been drunk.
You gotta try not. In order to be a good drunk, you have to act as if you're not drunk. Is that what you're saying?
But you really
That's
are
smart.
drunk. Like that's what I would say because listen, you're drunk, but you're not trying to be drunk, but you're clearly but like the words are coming out of your mouth incorrectly because you're drunk. Like you're not doing it like you're just drunk. You're not gonna talk right. You're not gonna walk right. But you're not flanging all over the place. You're not bumping into walls. Like you've been drunk
Would you have your
before.
would you have your actor actually take a shot just to loosen them up a little bit?
No, because these
No?
days are so long, they would get tired. Like if you're acting drunk and you have a 12-hour day and you're giving them shots, like I wouldn't give a shot. I would hire actors that could do it. I would, and I would.
Interesting.
That would be an expensive day for me, but I would have to cut it from other places in the budget because I would have to hire. If I had drunk extras, I would have to hire featured drunk extras because it's hard. And like untrained extras, they're great, or background actors as they're called, background talent. They aren't trained, so once the cameras go on, they forget how to walk. I'd be on sets. I'm like, hey y'all, like that's not how you walk. Like let's let's walk. Like just walk with me. Okay, that's how we do it. So when you action do that, and then their arms go stiff, and then they kind of do this weird walk. You're like, hey, you're not Frankenstein. You're Frank. Like so, just walk like you like it. So people would I would that's what I would do. And yeah, like Nick Cage is great in Leaving Las Vegas, and
Mm.
but that's a different kind of drunk. Like
You know what's
he's
hilarious
dying.
is
Another Elisabeth
Steve
Shue movie.
Buscemi. Yeah, Steve Buscemi in Wedding Singer is probably one of my favorite drunk people.
Yeah, because he's a good actor, and he's like, and yeah, he's just like he's really good in
He's,
that.
he's kind of squirrely in general, so he pulls it off so well.
Yeah, I just like but see the way he plays it in Wedding Singer is so good too. But yeah, I would the movie I have in my head, it would just be Eric, when you've had a few like beers in you and you're trying to not sound like you've had a few beers in you, but then everyone
Hmm.
knows you've had a few beers in you, but
You're talking a little louder.
yeah, and like your mouth
That's
is a little drier, you're fumbling a few words, but you're still there. Like you can still go there. You can probably still eh, engage in
yeah.
things, but you're a little slower. So it's
Cool. Yeah. Can we
yeah.
revisit? Remember the Frank the Tank scene in Old School? And Will Ferrell was not acting drunk. It was just good writing. It was just funny writing in the situation that they put him in, to where he didn't have to act drunk. It was just a hilarious situation that he was in. So maybe it's a lot of it's the writing and what you have them do.
And just yeah, like like once it touches your lips, it's so good. And also too, like that college scene, it's so heightened, and they did a lot of it through montage. And then eventually he's just running
Mm.
naked, so you're not thinking about acting anymore. He's just running naked. So you kind of hid the he didn't have to totally play drunk during that scene.
He's just doing things that a drunk person would
Yeah.
do. Okay.
I guess I would just tell my actors that everything's a little slower. just, just everything's a little bit slower. Like I think Linklater does a great job of drinking actors acting drunk or having stone conversations, or
You're
if you look at
right. He's made his money off Stone Conversation.
exactly, and I think he found a really good way around that. Like I think he figured out how to do it and make it seem organic. So it's, but I mean, also people love Half Baked, and they're just acting stoned out of their gourd, and they're idiots. And so it's just it depends on the movie, but the movie I'm seeing is just like, hey, a little slower, a little
That could be a
slower.
good topic for another episode. Is just analyze impaired conversation. Like
Yeah.
in Everybody Wants Some by Linklater, they analyzed Twilight Zone episode while they were high, which is really interesting.
And
I
it
mean, that
makes
was
sense, right? Because you would want to talk about Twilight Zone when you're high. That seems
yep.
like a great show to talk about. And it was the 70s, so it was more applicable back then. And it's kind of the topic you want to cover, and you don't want to be too stereotypical, I think. But Linklater's got it. Like he's got something different than what other people have. So it's yeah, and I mean the drunk acting's
It's hard to
fine in
do.
this. Yeah, it is. And that's why when you see people doing it, it's good. You're like, oh, okay, you nailed it.
I
So
feel like a
it's
Judd Apatow is a master too. Like, I
yeah.
mean, all the conversations and Knocked Up and other movies that they had.
Yeah, that's all just like, well, I think Seth Rogen and all those guys are just big stoners anyway, so they know exactly how to get into the mind frame of that. But yeah, it's tough, man, and like this movie doesn't really ever, it never tackles like the emptiness of the life. Like Coughlin dies because he's too ambitious. It never tackles like how empty his life is. And I'm not saying if you're a bartender your life is empty, but Coughlin's life was. I mean, Coughlin,
It was.
yeah, and so I'm not speaking of other bartenders. I'm just saying Coughlin was, but you know what though? That's why he tried to leech on Cruise a little bit. That's why he showed up. Like I think he was just I don't know. He still had but see, when you're a bartender, you know how to talk to people quickly because it's so many micro interactions. So you just got to know how to be fast and like how to
Mhm.
respond and like, oh, got you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So are you? Just throw out wisdom or like listen. Like that's they know how to like work for tips. So he's a pro at that. But outside of the club, he doesn't really have much going on.
I'd say the counterpoint to that, and I agree with you. They hinted to the lifestyle in the movie. I think they went into it more in the book, but I mean, I saw a lot of the criticism of the movie where they talked about how they wanted to make this glossy, bartending, environment. But I mean, like movies make so many different professions more sexy than they actually are.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, how many sexy journalists and writers are in movies? I mean, like in every rom com, someone's a sexy journalist or writer. you know
yeah.
and it's like it's a cool job, but I have news for you. Like you're sitting there typing, is not that sexy. Or advertising. I mean, advertising is cool. You're dealing with clients, but you're spending a ton of time, in front of a computer analyzing metrics.
Yeah.
It's
Or
you know,
editing or like writing
yeah,
and
or going back and
rewriting.
forth like with a client. Oh, I don't really like that, or you're doing like a focus group to see what messaging works on the ads. Like it's
When
I mean,
someone,
it's interesting, but it's not as sexy as they make it look. Police work, buddy cop movies, people
yeah,
make police work look more sexy than it is. There's so many more movies, and that would be my argument. Because if you go like, oh well, they made it seem more exciting, than reality. Well, I'm like, no crap. Everything in movies seems better sometimes. Like, what do you think about that analysis that a lot of critics gave?
but I think they're right. I mean, or you're right. You got to make it sexier. And they even said here that someone said that the original script was one of the best screenplays I'd ever read. But when Tom came in, the movie had to change. The studio made the changes to protect the star, and it became a much slighter movie because of it. And yeah, who's going to go watch a movie about a bartender's decline into depression over 10 years? You're not going to want to watch that. And so
Nope.
you speed it up, you make it faster. I mean, and listen, they didn't do a total script rewrite. They did edits, and I think that's what affected it. But yeah, man, like you're not. But listen, dude, there are some cool bartending jobs. Like there are. Like there's some fun gigs that you can have in the moment. So I think they did a good job of like capturing the lifestyle and the flair of it. But it's still, I don't know. It becomes a movie with no message. And not every movie needs a message, but he's just an awesome dude who becomes more awesome at the end. Right? It's
Well, yeah, he grows up.
yeah.
I think that's how I summarize a movie. A man grows up is probably the
But
best way I could describe this
but he
movie.
never has any like horrifying trials or tribulations. He just sort of grows up. But I don't know. He has to become grown up. Like it doesn't. It just doesn't feel organic. But as far as the bartending goes, I mean, this was the 80s, man. Like think about every bar though, and like you said, they're big, they're bad. Like Night at the Roxbury, like those clubs aren't like those
Oh
clubs are
yeah.
empty as hell, but they look fun. Like that's just the whole vibe. So yeah, I think you have to make it more fun. You can't just show the ugly complexity of the job. And like the color of money works though, because it's going from pool hall to pool hall to pool hall to pool hall to pool hall. So you have different people, different pool halls, different setups.
Yeah.
So
The guy's kind of a protagonist and an antagonist at the same time when
and then you
doing
got
it.
Newman and like what Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, she's like really good in that. And I think you can be more realistic when you're going from place to place to place. But if that bar was just a crap hole, if the Jamaican bar was just like if everything was cynical in Cocktail, it wouldn't work in regards to like having Tom Cruise in it, I think. So
Well, yeah, and I think what's interesting about starting a bar is it's a dream for so many people too.
yeah,
I mean, so many people dream of having their own bar. I mean, you see this a lot. Like it would be amazing, right? Like
yeah.
it's your own little universe that you can create if you start your own bar. What kind of drinks, what kind of clientele, the vibe. I mean, it's very aspirational though. When you think about it.
I mean, think like, and also, I mean, in a nice setting, man, some of the best conversations you can have is in a bar. Like, how many great conversations have been had in a bar? Like, you can really,
Business deals,
yeah,
yeah,
like
relationships.
you meet people, you experience things, you get turned down, you learn to deal with rejection, you learn to deal with acceptance, you meet people, you have wild nights that you can talk about for years. So I think that's great. But then once you learn about the hours, and then you got to keep, you got to deal with your distributors. and then you got to get the keg lines cleaned, and then you got the inspections, and then you get just clientele you may not like, and then you get people coming in, and you're kind of rolling the dice with who comes in. So I think it's a dream, and it would be cool to have a successful bar that runs perfectly, but nothing does. So it's
No, there's a lot of trial and error that happens with bars too.
yeah. And like, listen, like it's cool going to a bar once a week, and I don't do that. It's cool to go. It's cool going to a bar and meeting some people and having a cool conversation. But if that's every night of your life, like, that's going to get a little old. So it's yeah, I don't know, and but yeah, a lot of people do want to open up bars, but just open up a pub.
Yeah.
You can have some good talks
You can
and
get an
chats.
Irish pub in a box. There's companies, what they do is they purchase a bunch of knickknacks and things from Ireland, and then they sell everything you need for like the wood paneling and then you get a space, and then you get this couple containers that come in. This boom, you just install it and it's instant Irish pub. There's a Freakonomics episode about it that's really interesting if you want to listen to it.
It's crazy when I was out in Ireland, and when I was like in the UK, there were chains and they were all pubs. And you walk in, you're like, oh, it's a pub. But then you look at the menu and you're like, oh, it's just another Schmitzky's. It's like, yeah, they it's a corporate chain, but they made themselves look like pubs. And so you're like, oh man, but they, but I mean, I we went to the Pelican in St. Pete. There is a certain charm to dive bars. Like there's a certain authenticity to some of them that's fun. So
Yeah, you're right.
it, and but that movie, this movie though, it's not really about the clientele because they leave from it so fast, and then you have the yuppies, and then the drink. Like it becomes less about bartending. It's just a weird movie, man. I don't.
Yeah, you're right. You know what the other interesting part about this is the pregnancy at the end. And I'm like, all right, I didn't see that coming, but I think it was like these days pregnancy is a plot device. You don't get that a lot anymore in movies and shows. And I started researching, I mean, you had like Juno knocked up, 9 months was from the 90s, of course, but like the pregnancy as the central pivotal point of a movie, you don't see that very often anymore. This seems like it was very 80s, 90s
Yeah.
thing back then.
And this was a third
Right? Am
act,
I wrong?
and this was
Or I
like
mean there's
a
yeah.
third act pregnancy. Well, I mean, Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
But
You
that was late 80s
yeah,
or early 90s.
like no, early '80s. That movie came
Oh, was it?
out. So
Okay.
yeah, I think yeah, like she's having a baby, and like they're like it's just such an easy device to write around. Junior
There's a lot
Arnold
of drama.
Schwarzenegger had a
There's
baby. Like it's remember that?
I do. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's like okay,
9 months. It doesn't happen in film anymore,
this one
right?
just felt so like yeah. And then he's like, okay, well, I got to grow up because of this. Like he didn't grow up naturally. He's like, I gotta grow up because of this. And then there's a very aggressive fight at their house. It's
Oh yeah, with like the butler and
yeah,
the security guy, and it was too much. It was so unbelievable.
but it's still
And
fun to watch.
she's mid-20s, right? Mid-20s, and like, her dad has that much control over her in her mid-20s. I mean, it seems like a very unhealthy relationship.
Yeah, maybe you should get out of there. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, as far as pregnancies go, I guess I haven't thought too much about that. I mean, if you look at movies, like a obvious child, that's been that thing lately. Horror movies deal with pregnancies a lot because there's
Do
this the
they?
element. Yeah, I mean, the Quiet Place, Dawn of the Dead, Birth, Rebirth. Like pregnancies are big in movies, like because the horror of a pregnant woman being attacked or like what could happen. Like I think that
Oh, and
leads to more
having a
fear.
baby in a pot. It was in the zombie show, right? What was that zombie
Yeah,
one?
like Dawn of the Dead, there was a zombie baby. Like
Yeah.
Walking Dead, people
Walking
are
Dead.
pregnant.
Yeah.
Like it's like
It just adds to the dread.
yeah, and like it's like if monsters weren't enough, we're gonna have a pregnant woman, and then we're gonna have a place where monsters are alerted by sound, and we're gonna have a baby. Like so, it's just adding tension on tension. So it's just
That's right. They had to put the baby in the soundproof box, right?
yeah,
With the oxygen flowing into it.
and it's like guys, like monsters that can hear things are scary enough. You don't have to add more into it, but the movie's made bank, so whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's easy. It forces people, and also too, like it forces people to change. So the character's like, oh, like knocked up, right? Paul Rudd's like, well, not Paul Rudd. Seth Rogen's like, I gotta get my life together. and then he goes and gets his life together because of the kid. So it's easy. It's easy. I think that was the easiest thing for him. Not just change because he wants to be with this cool woman. It's like, no, I have to change because she's having my kid. It's
Yeah, Knocked Up was interesting. There are a lot of undertones there. I think they're almost lampooning themselves in movies, like the not so good looking guy with the beautiful woman. Like
yeah, so I did this. I'm working on this R-rated rom-com piece, and I've been going through
Uh,
R-rated rom-coms, and the Apatonian rom-coms really sort of changed the whole vibe of R-rated rom-coms there for a while, because you had the 40-Year-Old Virgin, then you had Knocked Up, then you had Trainwreck. He has a very specific 40-Year-Old Virgin he produced. No, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. He kind of
mhm.
changed the R-rated game there for a little bit, kind of like man dudes or women dudes growing up because their significant others are better than them. It's an interesting thing that we went through in the early 2000s. I'm glad we're past that
Forgetting
era.
Sarah Marshall. I think Forgetting Sarah Marshall was a classic, though. I mean, it's just
Well, because
one of
there's
the
so much
funniest
to
movies I've
it,
ever
right?
seen.
Like, it's suspenseful because he goes to the same stupid island. Mia Kunis is very likable, even though she's crazy, like available, but she's super likable. Siegel's funny. He lays it all out too. It's not just like, he literally bookends the movie
He
with
does so
Siegel.
many funny
Yeah.
things too. And
And
Bill Hader, you had the funny
see, that's
supporting
not funny.
characters.
Paul Rudd pops up, Kristen Wiig, like, yeah, that's top to bottom funny. Like, it works. And then he ends up growing up, everyone grows up. So I guess that's like, if you did power rankings, that's up there. I think that's like a tier 1 R-rated rom-com.
I
When Harry
agree.
Met Sally's up there,
Mhm.
like, I think you got to have that. But
I want to watch this new one with Glenn Powell. I can't wait for this new
yeah,
one
he's
to come
great,
out.
man. Set It Up too. I love Set It Up from back in the day. He and Zoe Deutsch,
Yeah, that was a good one.
they're wonderful. Yes, I mean, this one looks fun. I like Glenn Powell, Glenny P.
Yeah, me too. So I got a funny story about Cocktail.
Uh-oh.
I'm watching this, and I'm in this environment where there's not a lot going on, and I told my friend Ben, he's actually from the Bad at Magic podcast. Highly recommend it. But Ben he doesn't drink. It's just he doesn't do it. And I recommended this movie to him. I didn't put the two together, but I was like, Ben, what's interesting about this movie is you think it's all flashy, but it's really there's a lot of undertones here. So I think it's interesting watch, even though it's not the best movie, but I recommend it. Then he watched it as a non-drinker. So he's like it's completely foreign, not completely foreign, but seeing it through that perspective. But he's the one that picked up on the pregnancy as a plot device example, and he brought up Elisabeth Shue, the quintessential '80s girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
So Elizabeth Shue had a pretty strong run. I don't think she's credited for as many awesome movies, the Back to the Future movies, Karate Kid, this one and many others, but she had pretty she was in beast mode for a while in the 80s. I don't think people realize how many hits she was in.
Oh, dude, like, yeah, what karate,
She's stacked with how much she's done.
like,
But what I mean, I feel like she's overlooked because she's in such a big part of 80s pop culture.
I mean, if you watch Back to the Future Part 2, that Cocktail, Adventures of Babysitting, Karate Kid, like, around that area, you're like, you know what I think? You know what I think? Aside from Back to the Future, I think my first Elizabeth Shue movie that we watched was Leaving Las Vegas. It's like, that was like my first, like,
Yeah, you're
dealing
right.
with her at 12 as what the sex worker who hooks up with Nick Cage, and then
It
she
was
wins
so
an
different
Oscar.
from her work in the 80s too.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
polar opposite.
and she hooks up with another alcoholic. Well, I was like, okay, cool, yeah, she's great. But then I didn't really realize about her 80s career. But no, she was everywhere. Like, she was, and she's still crushing it nowadays.
I
She's
mean,
still in.
what other women have had that big of a run? I mean, it's an honest question that I know maybe I mean,
Well,
you got
Julia
like your Julia
Roberts.
Robert, but I mean, obviously she was the star, whereas Elizabeth Shue was a supporting actor in a lot of these. But I think she should get credit for being up there for some of the best run of movies. For I mean, all actors, but especially women.
Yeah, because I mean, she's just in so many that Like, I mean, Karate Kid's an all timer. Adventures of Babysitting is just like a super cult classic. Cocktail's a cult classic. I mean, the Back to the Future movies are gigantic. So yeah, I mean, Heart and Souls. No, I mean, yeah, if you just kind of look, and then yeah, and then she just kind of keeps popping up and staying in films. I wish
Yeah,
I had
she's
a,
got a long list on IMDb.
I
It
wish
is
I,
long.
like in the 80s, right? I think Daphne Zuniga had a great one. Spaceballs, The Sure Thing. She popped up in a bunch of Phoebe Cates was like in Gremlins and Fast Times. She had a good run there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh man, who's the
Who was
lady?
the Dirty Dancing? What was her name? She was Jennifer.
B no, Jennifer Grey. Because she was in
Yes.
Caddyshack. Not Caddyshack. She
Mhm.
was in Uncle Buck. And then
Yeah, she had
that
a good run as well.
like the 80s quintessential, like 80s famous 1980.
You're right, Jennifer Grey,
Oh,
Elisabeth
bro, like what
Shue.
about the Brat Pack, the Molly Ringwald? In the 80s, she
Mhm.
was like hitting
Yes.
like she was hitting on all cylinders there. 1980s. Ali Sheedy had a good Michelle Pfeiffer was blowing up. She had like Scarface and Lady
Yeah, you're right.
Hawk. I know we're just naming names right now. Who I mean, I Own Sky. She was in Say Anything. I love that movie. I'm gonna give it to our girl Elisabeth Shue. She was crushing it.
That was a big run. I mean, I think she was close to winning the 80s. One of the top actors, in my opinion.
Oh wow. Because let's see. Breakfast Club. I mean, Molly had like her just had like what Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink and 16
Mhm.
Candles. Like she just had a beast mode run there as far as like John Hughes movies. This is an interesting question. I'm gonna have to look into this more. This is a tough one to
I
pop on me, but I like it.
Yeah, because it involves a lot of research too. I got one more question for you here.
Yeah.
The title of the movie, Cocktail, it's perfect, but it's like the name of it is not about the movie isn't about cocktails. It's about somebody growing up and a whirlwind romance, and but it the name is so simple, but it's so perfect, right?
Yeah, it's
'Cause what else
Cocktail.
are you gonna name it?
Yeah.
It's so perfect, even though the movie isn't necessarily about cocktails. They don't really talk. I mean, they mention it in his bar poetry, but outside of that, in Jamaica, he mentions a couple drinks, but it's such a like, you think it's about cocktails, but it's nothing to do. I mean, it's about the art of bartending, but it's not about the drink itself. So, I just thought it was interesting how the name of the movie it's so memorable, it's iconic, but it's not exactly kind of what the movie's about. I just thought it was a perfect name.
Yeah, let's go see Cocktail. Like, what does he do? I mean, he makes cocktails.
You see it on posters. You see Tom Cruise, you see cocktail, Tom Cruise bartender. I think it's brilliant marketing, in my opinion.
And these are movies that only work in the 80s, 90s when they were star-driven films. So it's like, watch Will Smith watch Adam Sandler be an angry golfer. Like it's watch Will Smith be a golf caddy. Watch Jim Carrey not lie. Watch him be a pet detective. Like
Liar,
it's
liar.
yeah. So
Ace
when you
Ventura.
so when
That's
you're like, oh, okay, so like it's Cocktail. He's just dealing cocktails. Like what's this? Let's go see. This should be a more of like a
yeah.
sampler.
It relies on the star power. So it's like the title doesn't need to be that descriptive. It just has to kind of give you a general idea of Tom Cruise bartender. Like, right? I mean, it's just it's so
That's
easy because it works so well in all the marketing.
yeah, and it's do you know the poster's him just looking serious with his hand on a bar? Like I don't even know what that says about this movie.
There's like a pink neon light that says cocktail too, with him smiling. Like
When
it's is
he pours, he rains.
that what it says?
Yeah. So when if you looked at this poster, Eric, and you knew nothing about Cocktail, what would you think it is?
Which poster are you looking at?
The one
I'm
where he has
thinking
his
about the
there's a picture of him just he has his hand on the bar and he has a black shirt and he has another one on his hips and he's just looking at the camera. It's I don't I guess it's just saying like this is going to be suspenseful. Like this is
oh
Wall Street
yeah,
with
but it looks like he's at a bar, but he's not smiling in it. He's
no.
serious.
Just so like, he wouldn't go see Cocktail. I don't know what's it about. Well, I guess he just pours drinks. Yeah, it sounds
You're
good to me.
that big of a star. You could just stand there with your hand on a bar without an actual drink, without an actual cocktail in your hand. You're that big, and you could sell a movie.
Like I love that the trailer has the sex scenes. It has the basketball. It has some yelling. It doesn't quite say what it is. But yeah, so I found one thing I want to read that just makes me happy. So I forget where I pulled this from. He's like, in case you haven't seen Cocktail or haven't seen it in a while, you should know it's kind of insane. It takes place in 3 acts across New York and Jamaica. Cruz's character is a working class guy from Queens who's striving to become an 80s era yuppie. yet he settles for a relatively quiet life, owning a small bar and raising a family. An enormous shift his character makes in a few minutes. There's a suicide, there's a waterfall sex scene, there's a very angry father who appears in a third act that wraps up way too quickly.
It's a remarkably fast recovery.
Yeah. But you know what though? That's why this movie works. I'm telling you, the movies that live the longest on cable are the ones where you can just put them on and something happens and it moves to the next thing. Like you don't want to dwell in, you don't want to watch. Leaving Las Vegas wasn't on TNT every night. Like it's not a movie you want to watch all the
No.
time. That's why Cocktail's good.
Oh man, someone called this movie "Flat Beer from Rusty Pipes." They borrowed a line in the movie to slam it. One guy just said, "Very, very stupid." I'm looking at top critics. Cocktail is a meandering, shapeless film. That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. It's very, without the force of character to resist any of the cliches. That's unfair. I mean, it's just, but it is meandering. It is shapeless.
Yeah. I
It
don't even
just
know.
exists.
But you know what though? That's why this movie has a personality. It has a personality because I've never seen a movie this shapeless before. So when you're watching it, you're like, wait, that was a big turn. Oh, he's in Jamaica now? Well, he just body slammed Elisabeth Shue in the water. Like, why is Kelly Brook showing up? Wait, why is Kelly LeBrock showing up? No, not Kelly. I'm mixing up all my Kellys right now. Why is Roadhouse here? Kelly Lynch here. Like,
Speaking of Roadhouse, wasn't there a bartender in Roadhouse that got beaten up all the time?
yeah. So
Like,
yeah, I mean, so
that's one of my favorite bartenders in film. Is the guy that gets beaten up in Roadhouse?
that's why bartenders don't fight. That's why you leave it up to the bouncers.
Yeah, they need their hands to make drinks. They
Yeah,
can't be
exactly.
like
Or to hit.
breaking any hand.
Yeah, you don't want the bouncers fighting. You don't want the bartenders fighting. You want the
Yeah,
bouncers.
that's why baseball players never throw punches because they're
Yeah, they need those
what's
hands.
up their hand.
Just leave it to the bouncers. Like I don't go back there and make your martinis, so don't come out here and fist fight with me.
Yeah, you should have a bar just for dentists because like they're not punching anyone. They need their hands for like
Yeah, I'm gonna be like the
some of the
orthopedic surgeon. Doc
yeah,
bar.
dentists and baseball players are welcome. There's gonna be no fighting.
I'm gonna find like a big dental place, like a very successful one, and open up a bar next to it, just called Teeth
Just the most chill bar.
Gums. Hey guys,
Gums
calm down.
and dreams and
Hey,
dreams.
hey man, could you have plastic cups? Like I can't squeeze the glass. It'll hurt my hands. So just I don't know if dentists speak like that, but you know,
But they're not punching anybody. You're good.
just until you
If
meet
you're a
like
bouncer, you don't have to throw anyone out.
hey, not the hands. Okay, so what then? Like just yeah. But yeah, well I'm glad you talked about this movie. I know we digressed a decent amount, but there's not much to this movie. So it's kind of fun to chat about the other tropes that it goes through and how crews learn from it. And also too, like this
Yeah.
movie doesn't take the greatest view of women either. You have Gina Gershon cheats on him. Kelly Lynch tries to cheat, and then you get like but it's such an 80s movie though. That's what the 80s were. It's like 80s in a bottle, this film. You have the 80s yuppies. You have all the music.
Everyone wanting to be rich. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone want to make
Yeah.
the music, the hair.
Yeah. The clubs.
It's
It's very
extremely
80s.
male driven, male point of view all the way. I mean, it was
Like
it's
you know what I like though? This is a movie about a dude who he doesn't become great. He's just like, yeah, I opened up a bar. Like it's cool. It's kind of nice that he doesn't become like the greatest bar guy. Oh, it's not like Scarface where he's broke, then he rises to power, then it all collapses. Like he just starts a bar, like a small bar.
yeah, I guess that could be the summary of the movie. Man starts bar.
I like
Man
the one
opens
you
a bar.
don't trust Jamaican bar. Don't trust dudes in Jamaican bars. Is that what at resorts?
Oh,
Don't
don't
trust.
don't trust a bartender at a Jamaican resort. Like if they're Jamaican, you can trust them. But if they
Yeah,
move down to be
yeah.
at the resort just to make money, don't trust them.
Shifty. See, that would not be fun bartending because that's just vacationers wanting to be served. And like when you go to a resort, you expect to be served because you're paying so much money. Like that's boring bartending. If you work in a pub in New York, you're still serving people, but it's more about the feel.
There's a
You know?
community. There's a
Yeah,
community
yeah.
vibe to it. Yeah, you could tell though he was bored. He was bored as hell in Jamaica. You could tell in the movie, and I did appreciate that.
It's true. He wasn't living it up. It's an odd movie, Eric. But
Would you
Tom,
recommend this movie? I made the mistake of recommending it to my friend
no,
who doesn't drink. But would
you
you
know what
recommend it
though?
to anybody?
Like, are you a Tom Cruise fan? Do you want to see a movie that like changed his career for the better after making it? Because he's all about story now. Like Tom Cruise, he pushes story hard. He wants a good story. And I think after this, his filmography changed and he learned from it. So if you're a Tom Cruise completist, watch it because you'll see the evolution of his character.
That's a great point. I think it's on brand for the podcast here, movies, films, and flicks, because we try to look at the flops and the good ones and see what's good about it, see what's learned, and look at the positives from these movies.
This movie made a lot of money and it played on cable forever. So it obviously connected with people.
Yeah, if you Google best bartenders in film, Flanagan's on it,
You know
even
what?
though the movie sucked.
You know what this teaches me? Is like, let's find a profession that no one does and let's just make a bad movie. Because then whenever people are like, here's the best movies featuring rare coin collectors, like we're going to be one in every single list, even if our movie stinks because it's so niche. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. There's enough movies about police and lawyers and journalists. Let's find something out of the ordinary.
Best movie about a cupcake maker, but only cupcakes with bottoms.
Well, The Hangover, you had Ed Helms was a dentist. I mean, that was interesting.
Yeah.
You had Matthew Perry, rest in peace. He was a dentist, right? In the
Yeah,
whole nine yards.
Steve Martin was a
you're right.
dentist. Yeah, let's do a rare coin collector. So whenever that comes up, the best rare coin collecting, it's like Matthew McConaughey in Circular Gold.
He's riding a Buick and just analyzing.
Or Silver Circle. He's just in his Lincoln going, oh, hey.
Oh, Lincoln. Did I say Buick?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, hey. Check out this new silver coin I got. Yeah.
I need to
check
go
it out.
cruise and hit the road
because
I got to check out some coins.
Let's go pawn this. Like, let's go see how much this is worth. All right.
Only 100 miles to go in my Lincoln.
See this little bad boy right here?
Road.
See this little bad boy right here? 1973 commemorative. Pew. And then you have some close-up magic and it disappears. And then Earl's up front going, yeah, that's great, boss. Say, man, where'd my coin go? Oh, it's right here. I think the coin collector.
Sponsored by Lincoln.
Silver Circle. What would be like a good word title for this movie?
Where does the drama come from? Is he, bidding wars, or does he get robbed?
Say, man, like someone's after my coins. Oh, we gotta go.
What do these coins teach us about life?
Hey, man, the 1783 doubloon that I have was very valuable.
Man, he's trying to find some shipwrecks.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Looking for coins.
Oh, hey, man. I hear off the coast of California there's a shipwreck with some doubloons in it. And then it all just goes to heck. I mean, it's basically the thing of fool's gold. We're just explaining fool's gold to people.
Fool's gold, wasn't that in the desert?
No, it's like him and Kate Hudson.
That was
Sahara, he goes after gold coins.
Yeah.
He goes after a boat. Hey, man, let's go on an adventure.
Let's just put Sahara in the Caribbean, the Caribbean. He's like there and he's scuba diving, looking for wrecks.
But he does that in Fool's Gold. He looks for treasure in Fool's Gold. Hey, man. Let's go visit some old war.
I don't remember that at all. Was that the Salma Hayek or the Kate Hudson one?
That's the Kate Hudson one.
Was that before the reconnaissance, or was that when he was doing the height rom-coms?
Yeah, that was before it. Reconnaissance started with Lincoln Lawyer.
Okay. Great books, by the way.
Oh yeah, I love that movie. I wrote about it for Rotten Tomatoes. You should read it. But yeah, hey man, I've been to the desert, and I've been to the Bahamas. Let's go something different. Let's go Louisiana.
I can see McConaughey I can see him as a bartender.
Yeah,
maybe a fun bartender.
Yeah, because I mean he has that Texas vibe.
Just chatting with people.
Yeah,
making them feel welcome.
How you doing? I like this bar already. What does this guy do different? He just chats with people. Does he like hook up with customers? Do anything fancy? No, he has a real welcoming presence.
He's just a cool guy that people want to hang out with. It's a great business model. Like he's not flipping anything. He's just really pleasant to be.
I'm pretty sure he has an illegal coin ring thing going on here, but everyone's like really chill about it. So it's not like drugs. So I just let him go away with it. Just don't touch his doubloons.
Just a side hustle.
Like, say, man, you talking about my doubloons? It's fine, man. Just checking.
That's awesome, man. I had fun with this one, dude.
Yeah, this is great. Hey,
This
well,
is good.
thank you for joining me, Eric.
My pleasure.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Eric Hoffmeyer, this is Movies from the Flicks. We'll see you next week.